I was born ready, he says. What's up, y'all?
What I do.
I have a very special guest with me today.
Very special indeed.
Very special. I was thinking about this introduction on my way. I was driving home. I just went and saw my friend just open a gym in Thornley. And I was driving here and I was like, how am I going to introduce this podcast? How am I going to get into this? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get real sappy here for a second. This is coming from the heart. So Mert is my guy best friend, my male best friend. And I would not be the person that I am today without Mert.
Well, it's all reciprocated because I wouldn't be the person I am today without you. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. And that leads me into my first topic of conversation is the importance of having friends that challenge you, that inspire you to grow. Because I do believe that the people that you surround yourself with are a reflection of yourself, or they are what you become, essentially. So at the time, so Mert and I met each other working at Fitness First, and we had some very fun times together.
We did.
Yeah.
A lifetime ago.
Yeah, a lifetime ago, it feels like. But then we both went through a breakup, and Mert came to me. I actually remember the phone call.
I remember you called. Yeah, I remember exactly.
Yeah, do you? I remember I'd love to hear from your point.
I actually just parked at I can't remember if it was right before or if it was after I was finished, but I went to Sydney Olympic Park, and there was like the Bicentennial Park over there, and I just took my book there and I just wanted to read and just read in nature, read in the elements. And yeah, that's what I was doing. And I was reading, what was I reading? I think at that time I was reading the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So yeah, you called me, and then why'd you even call me that day? I can't remember.
I don't remember why I called.
Yeah.
But I just called you. I was driving home. I was driving home from work at Fitness First, and I called you. And then I don't know,
like it's crazy. It's just like the universe made it happen, right? And you called me, and then we just got into a discussion about self-growth and how, we're not fulfilled with what we're doing and where we're at. And, we just want to reach our full potential. And then it just went off from there, really.
Yeah. But I will say, like, massive, how do I say? You say like this, for example. So this is something that I wanted to touch on. And I actually, before I get into this, I actually want to warn the listeners. This podcast, I almost guarantee it's going to trigger everyone in some way or another, I reckon, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Well, yeah, of course, because then your beliefs or your certain understandings are being challenged, I guess,
And I think because it's something that I have been involved in quite a lot in my life, whether it be myself, putting myself in like the victim mindset, or seeing people around me put themselves in the victim mindset.
Yeah.
This is like, so after a breakup, I feel like sometimes we can put ourselves in that victim mindset, right? It's like, oh, this person did this to me. He did that. She did this.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, sometimes that like way of talking to yourself is, how do I say?
I think it, like after going through something, I guess, traumatic, like a breakup, really any traumatic situation, I think that's victimhood is like a reflex action. it's something very natural that happens to, I guess, people that go through a situation which is pretty, what's the word I can use here? That go through a situation which puts them. I'm trying to think of the word. It's not coming.
Take a deep breath. It's coming. It's coming.
That leaves them in a position where they're, what's the word? It's not coming.
It is coming.
Yeah, it's
See,
coming.
this
It's
is
coming.
yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It puts them. It puts them in a position where, I guess, just life's thrown a huge
Yeah.
shit curveball
Curveball,
at them, right?
100%.
And they don't know how to respond. And they merely just react
Mm,
emotionally, which
mm,
is completely normal during that time, right?
mm,
But I guess where the important thing about this is, most people after going through that, they hang on to it,
mm.
and then it makes them bitter, and it stops them from seeing things how they are,
Yeah,
and it only makes them see through a negative lens.
yeah.
And but once you overcome that victim mentality, when you're like, no, this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me.
Mm,
Because obviously after going through something like that, most people's, like I was saying, how when people would merely react instead of responding accordingly, that's because they have no emotional intelligence. So what they're doing, when the situation transpires, they're viewing it from an emotional point of view,
mm,
which clouds your judgment, which is not true at all,
mm-hmm.
right? Rather than viewing the situation from an observational point of view
Mm,
with emotional intelligence, without emotions attached to it, to see it for what it really is.
yeah,
And so when we do that, we can then make the best possible decisions given the circumstances that have transpired. And it's all about just making the best possible decision for you.
mm,
Because like obviously we're talking about victim mentality, but this is for people who do have a victim mentality, who are making up excuses for the situations that they're in.
mm,
It's obviously it's not your fault that
yeah,
you're in that situation in the first place,
yeah.
but it's your fault how you go about everything
It's how you choose
afterwards.
to respond to it.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
if you see a lot of successful people today, they wouldn't be where they are if they didn't go through the shit that they went through where in the past.
Mm,
So, but the difference is they chose to see as this thing happening for me,
yeah,
not against you. There's a reason why things happen in our lives.
yeah,
They push us into our purpose, into
yeah,
what we're meant to do, if we respond accordingly
yeah,
and not react
yeah.
merely emotionally.
100%. 100%.
Mm.
And that is what I saw you doing, is that so Mert
Mm.
had gone through this breakup. And let me preface, Mert had, how old were you? Like 23?
I just turned 20, like
22.
no, I got into the relationship when I was 23.
Mm,
And then it went over till like I was 24.
yeah.
And we broke up when I just, not long after I turned 24, a couple months after.
Yeah. And so Mert had never been in a relationship before this. He'd always been extremely picky. He knew what he wanted out of a relationship. And then he got into this relationship with this girl, beautiful woman.
There was a certain criteria that
Yeah.
which
is also a good thing to
yeah,
have.
which is a prerequisite to fill that role.
Yeah.
And no one's ever filled that role until that time. So
yeah.
and sorry to cut you off before
that's
we
okay.
continue. I feel like your partner, like you should be absolutely, you should not settle for your partner. You should only demand the best, top tier. Like this is the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So there's no other way to go about it, you know?
Yeah,
So
that fucking hit me when you said that. I just got chills.
yeah, it's no like easy thing that you should just accept. Like it's probably the most important decision that you'll ever make.
Yeah,
who
gonna be
who
the
you choose
mother
to
or
spend
father of your children.
who you choose to spend your life with. In my case, who's going to hold my children, you know, who's going to birth my children into this place, like who's going to be in her womb, you know, like it's massive. It's not something that should be taken lightly at all.
It's a little side tangent. I've been seeing a lot of that lately, like which I love seeing, like casual sex is dead. You know, you should be looking for like dating to marry.
Casual sex is a distraction.
Yeah, it's honest. Yeah,
you should not be sleeping with anyone you don't hold the same values, ethics, morals, whatever else it may be with. You should not, because sex is an energy exchange.
It's sacred.
It's sacred, and you can't, and you can't exactly, and we can't just let anyone like into that sacred energy of ours.
And I don't want to say that it's not as important for men, but I feel like it's an especially important thing for women because, like you said, our wombs are a portal to the spirit world.
100%.
They're a gateway. They fucking birth life.
Exactly.
So if you're letting Tom, Dick, and Harry just like come inside of you, or look, each to their own, you do what, but something that I can't.
You've come to realize, right? Like obviously, you know, we're young and we've done what we've done. Yeah. Like that's a natural part of life. You grow up and you go through these experiences and you learn. And then you realize you're like, hold on. No, that's not actually right at all. Just because society has normalized these things, society has normalized casual sex, society has normalized constantly dating one person after the other, doesn't mean that we should be doing that. I mean, that's completely, you really think about it, is that really optimal for your well-being? Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? What do you think that's doing to you? Your people that do that, like, I'm just gonna talk some real shit right now, but they're traumatized because you won't be doing that if you weren't. You're trying to fill this void that only yourself can fill spiritually. And nothing physically is ever going to fill that. I promise you. You're always going to be left unfulfilled.
And this is coming from, I want to like, because I have been on fucking like dating apps and shit like that. And like you said, you have love and compassion for yourself in that time, but it's important. Like, I mean, more of like what we'll be discussing today is like challenging your belief systems. Like if you were the same person that you were
yesterday,
you're always learning and always improving. Life is always a learning experience. It's a learning journey.
That's why we're here. This life's a lesson. Where we're here to grow, and we come here because we incarnate in this physical plane of existence because it's a test which our soul needs in order to go to the next plane of existence. It's crazy.
And something that I've been practicing lately is like feeling into my body before I make a decision. So say like when I was like scrolling on or whatever, what the fuck do you do? Swipe and shit on
Tinder,
Hinge and shit. Like I'm like, this doesn't even feel good.
Nah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It really and then doesn't.
It's so bad because you're operating from your lower self, not your higher self.
And like, look, if you've met the love of your life on that, then good on you.
Of course, there are exceptions, rules, but for the predominant part of it, like the vast majority, which is like, I'd say no less than 98%, it's not.
Go build a relationship with yourself.
Exactly. It's not, I feel like a lot of people, I know it's a fact. Most people that are on those apps are insecure. They're insecure whether it's about themselves. Well, no, definitely about themselves. And they're insecure because they're they're not okay with being by themselves. That's why they're looking for a relationship. It's not organic. The way, like, oh, they're coming from a place of lack. I don't have this, so I'm looking for it. So look at the energy that you're coming from. Do you think that's the best way that a relationship should start? Like, do you think that's the best foundation of a relationship? Fuck no. The best foundation of a relationship is through organic and healthy means. So it happening organically, naturally.
Yeah.
That's the best. That is how relationships should happen, right? But obviously, ever since these dating apps entered the scene, hasn't been that way, and you've seen society even descend more than it already has.
But not us,
No,
baby,
no,
not
no,
us.
no, no.
And that's
No, 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 no.
I love that little side tangent. But back to
Yeah.
my what I was saying, like you had gone through this breakup.
Yes,
with,
yes. And then we talked on the phone, and yeah,
yeah,
we
but you were using it as a learning opportunity.
yeah, it was
Like
it was motivation. I'll
Yeah.
turn that pain into a drive to better myself.
Yeah.
You turn your pain into your passion, and then your passion into your purpose.
Yeah.
That's literally how, like, most successful people, if you look at a lot of organizations, a lot of companies, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people in whatever field they're in, that's how that was that was the process of how it all came into fruition.
Yeah. And fuck, I forgot. Wait, no.
So we're talking about self-growth on the phone. You called me, and then
yeah, and very much like looking back now. So in the moment, say like when I had just ended things with the guy that I was dating, I was fucking for days. I was like, I don't want to leave my apartment. Fucking Mert, what am I?
Yeah.
But looking back now, I'm like, thank you, universe, for at the time, like you said, your emotions are clouded because it does hurt.
It does. And you have to feel through it. Like, you have to feel through that pain. But what that pain forces you into doing is because the pain is unbearable, you have nowhere to escape to, right? But when you face it, that pain, it creates this space within yourself that you never had before on where you need to go, and it gives you that capacity to endure that pain. And then, but what happens is that pain enters our auric field, our luminous energy field, which is our energy body. So it's an electromagnetic field that radiates 8 feet around us at all times, and that's where all our energy is stored, all our traumas are stored, whatever happens to us is all stored there. That's why when you see someone and someone's like, oh, I felt that person's aura, there's a reason behind it. There's a science behind it, like I just explained to you. That's the reason why. So if a person is unhealed, if a person has trauma that's unresolved, that hasn't been processed yet, it gets stuck into their energy field, and it affects them in every aspect of their lives, with their work ethic, with their relationships, with whatever else it may be, with how they speak to people. It's holding them back from reaching their full potential. And you can see when a person's projecting their trauma, if you've already done the work yourself. You know,
I love when you talk spirituality.
Yeah. But it's scientific as well.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
And that's what most people don't realize. That's why a lot of people are lost.
And you also attract the vibration that you are radiating at. You attract 100%. That into your field.
Of course.
Into your reality.
Exactly. Because whatever energy or vibration or frequency you're operating and you're radiating at, that goes off into the universe reciprocates it, and it manifests into its physical form. So in quantum physics, in the quantum world, and in the quantum realm, what's it called? Quantum physics, the quantum field. So in the quantum field, when you understand how quantum mechanics works and you understand quantum physics, in the quantum field, there are infinite realities. So we are capable of creating any reality that we want to. And the reality that we choose to create is the one that we give our energy to. So if, hypothetically speaking, well, not hypothetically, because this is what you're doing actually, but you right now, you're giving your energy into being a woman's coach, a personal life coach. I'm not sure how you exactly define it, but it's around those words, right?
Women's mentor, women's empowerment coach.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You already know.
Yeah.
But so that's what you're giving your energy to. So if you keep doing that, inevitably, that's the reality that you're creating for yourself. Like it's because that's what you're working towards. So that nothing else can come out of it. Like there can be expansions of it, but that's what's going to be. Yeah. Because that's what you are. Yeah. And that's what you're building on. Yeah. So that's
as in like that's my identity, and that is a goal, or I'm living my life through intention because I have this vision for myself, for my life. And that is going, and that is what I'm creating.
Exactly. And you're doing everything that's required to create that.
Yeah. Doing the podcast.
Exactly.
So socials, coaching. Yeah.
And that's how the quantum field works. Whatever you're giving your energy to is going to be manifested. Hands down. That's the most basic way to put it. Yeah. So whatever you're working towards, it's inevitably going to come because that's what you're working towards. Like, it's like, it's science really, you know? Yeah. Yeah. That's how the quantum field works in quantum physics. And that's how quantum mechanics works.
Yeah. So if you're constantly sitting in how do I say? Like I was saying before, if you're constantly talking to yourself in a victimhood kind of way,
yes,
blaming things on external things, this is happening to me, she did this, he did that, that is disempowering yourself, and that's not creating, or you're going to attract more victimhood into your life.
Exactly. And I was doing that when it first happened. Even though at the same time I was still working to better myself, I was still putting in that work because of the emotions that were operating really high during that period. I still had that mentality. Yeah. I was still going through that. Yeah. But I knew I wasn't that. But obviously my emotions were very strong, so I was still battling it, Yeah. But at the same time, regardless, I used that pain to better myself because I knew that wasn't true. It's like a paradox because that was necessary for me to do better. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I felt like at the time for myself, like, again, just like I wouldn't be, I mean, everything in your life is building you into the person that you are today. And so if I didn't date this guy, and he didn't mirror to me the healing that I needed to do within myself, I wouldn't have been triggered enough to change. Because at the time, I didn't think there was anything that needed healing.
Exactly.
Right. So
we weren't aware.
Yeah. So
me too. It was the same for me. And then it brought up obviously the trauma from the relationship, from what I've suffered, but also because of that experience, it brought up all my childhood trauma, all my family trauma. And I was like, whoa, this all exists. And I was like, holy fuck, I need to heal this. I need to take care of this because it's affecting me. It's been affecting everyone, really, but it's funny because trauma it's like an evil necessary. And what I mean by that is it's necessary for us to upgrade. So once we suffer, once a traumatic event happens, and once we're conscious enough to acknowledge it, obviously the immediate thing you need to do is heal it so it doesn't affect you anymore. But what happens is when you do heal the trauma, it literally upgrades your DNA. And
beautiful.
exactly. And it's literally what we do in the workshops, like that we're like, I've seen magic happen. It's crazy. And so yeah, do not run away from your trauma, which is what most people do. And then what happens is they forget about it, and then it gets rooted deep into the crevices of their subconscious mind. And so they're not aware of it, but it's still there affecting them in all their habits, in all their aspects, in their everyday lives, in all their relationships, whatever it may be. And it's restricting them from them reaching their full potential. So when you do heal it, you literally upgrade and you start operating better. You become smarter, more intelligent, more conscious. You become more efficient. Like that's what I mean by the paradox. It's necessary for you to be better. That's literally what it is. It's crazy. But it's the hardest thing a person will ever do. That's why most people don't do it. Facing their own shadow, facing themselves.
Yeah.
It's not easy because the ego doesn't like to blame. It's hard to accept that you're the problem. Like there's something wrong with you. What people do is, instead of doing that, they point the finger. It's like at someone else. It's like, no, I'm not the problem. It's you, or her, or him, or it. Pronouns these days, you know. She, her. Fucking bullshit. That's what it is.
Oh, he went there. He went there. We said you were going to be triggered today.
Well, I speak of facts.
He does. He does.
Hey.
I'm actually fucking dying. Now I forget what I was going to say. No, it's there. It's there.
Oh yeah. So the ego likes to point fingers. And that's why it's people like the ego can be so subtle. People, the ego is a fucking subtle thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it can grasp you, and it can dictate how you go about your life without you even knowing, realizing. Exactly. So like we have to be really aware and really be aware where we're operating from.
How do you recognize when you're operating from your ego?
Well, like right now, because I'm at a certain level, it's really easy to recognize when I do operate from my ego. And basically it's just about, because I know who I am, like on a very, very thorough level, because I've done so much work on myself. Whatever's not any action I do that's not aligned with who I am and what my purpose is my ego. It wouldn't be anything else.
He just said it so simply. I love it.
Because it is that simple. When, like it's not that simple coming to realize that. It takes a lot. But that's literally how simple it actually is.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a an example to give the listeners.
Well, I can give an example. Like, for example, because so I remember this because this is when I first came to Sydney. And I remember I was with Max. You remember Max? Yeah. We went out to this restaurant eating, and there were these two girls there, and
I can't wait to hear the rest of this.
Oh my god! And you know, the one that was facing my way was staring at me, and I was staring at her. I caught her staring a few times.
Oh my god!
And then
each other from across the room.
yeah. And then and then this other Asian family that was next to us, they were taking photos, and I was like, we'll take the photo for you, blah blah blah. And then right after that, the girls started taking photos, and then I saw that as an invitation,
Yeah.
And so I got up and I was like, do you want me to take a photo for you girls? Anyway, etc. I took the photo for them. We started talking. But I realized, this was afterwards, I realized when I was speaking to her, I wasn't speaking in a way that was truthful to who I am. And I realized in that moment, to impress this girl, I wasn't who I am.
Mm.
It was my ego trying to impress this girl.
Mm.
And
did you say something like specifically that like triggered that in you, or was it like
no,
after
no,
reflection, just thinking about
yeah,
it?
it wasn't anything specifically, but I'd say how I was acting. Like I know I'm a very confident individual, and I'm very confident in how I go about whatever it is that I do.
Mm.
But in that moment, I felt like it was more like obviously there was confidence, but there was also, I guess, untruthfulness,
Mm.
you know, and that's because, and like I could already tell what type of like woman she was, you know what I mean? That not aligned with who I am at all. But yeah, and
Stereotyping right now.
huh?
Oh, amazing.
No, not stereotyping. Like I could just tell, and then
Yeah.
through conversation, and then like we added each other on socials and
Maybe
whatnot.
she was talking from her ego as well. Maybe she
Well,
wasn't showing her true self to you. She was trying to.
well, definitely because she doesn't know who she is. She hasn't done this work. You know what I mean? Like I just know when you know, you know. But levels to this. No, but for real though, and I realize I'm like, I wouldn't even associate myself with someone like this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, and I'm just like, wow, like, especially coming back to Sydney after moving up to Byron and going through that whole spiritual journey over there. And it makes you really aware how and what you're operating off. And I realized I was like, holy fuck, that was pure. That was my lower nature. And that wasn't my higher self, it was my lower self. And it was purely egotistical. It's crazy.
Beautiful reflection though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was necessary because
Yeah. Again,
because it showed me, I'm like, whoa, you can really lose yourself that easy.
Yeah.
You got to be really aware. It's fucking powerful.
Yeah.
It's that easy to like lose yourself and corrupt your soul. That's literally how it is.
That's heavy, man.
It was huge for me, and it was important. I'm like, now that I know that, I'm like, I fucking know how to always act, always how to go about things, like whatever it may be. Like you really have to stay true to yourself in this society, because it's so easy to lose yourself in this society. Like it's so deep. I can't even.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
But I can't even fathom. Like it's most people won't be able to fathom how profound this really is, you know. And that was huge for me, that moment, and I'm so grateful for that experience to learn off.
Yeah,
it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of ties into like another topic that I wanted to discuss is taking back your power. And so in that moment, would you say like I wouldn't say you lost yourself, but like you were.
Yeah, well, since we're speaking about taking back your power, I gave up my power in that moment.
Yeah.
And then obviously realizing afterwards, I harnessed my power back. But it was like, holy shit, you can really give yourself up that easy, like in an instant. So I'm grateful for the experience. So I don't do that again. You know, it is what it is.
But I mean, look, it might happen again.
Oh,
it might,
can.
But
we're humans.
Yeah.
But it's the first step to solving those issues is acknowledging them in the first place.
Yeah.
So just grateful for the experience, and you know, I will try not to make it happen again. I'm confident I won't, but at the end of the day, we're human beings, and it is really easy to lose ourselves in our ego in those ways. So I don't know if it will happen again. I'm gonna do my best to make sure it doesn't. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't. but anything can happen, but
Yeah,
it's not
but I
gonna
don't think
happen.
the ego isn't always a bad thing.
No. The ego,
It's necessary.
It's necessary. The ego is a tool that
Yeah.
you use to push and align yourselves with the things that you want. But it's if you don't harness if you don't control your ego, and you let your ego control you, then you're just going for a downward spiral.
Yeah. So say it again. What you said before. Like, how do you know when you're operating from your ego? Say that again. I should write this down.
Yeah.
Anything that's like
I'm
not in
I'm trying to
alignment.
remember how I exactly worded it.
Yeah.
Because when I say these things, it's just
it just comes out. Yeah.
It's straight from source channel. It's speaking through me. Anything that's not a lot. Anything you do that doesn't align with you or your purpose here is your ego.
Yeah.
Is your ego. Like, hands down.
Yeah.
Because there's no other reason why you do it.
Yes.
Except for an egotistical, pleasurable reason, you know?
So when you're operating from fear, scarcity, anger, jealousy, that kind of thing. When you're operating at a higher level, that you're operating. How do I say? I want to say like closer to your soul's purpose, because at our core, we're all love.
Exactly. And you're closer to your essence because our essence, our essence is our expression, and our expression is our essence. So if you're not fulfilling your purpose here, you're betraying yourself, because when you incarnate here into this physical plane of existence, you didn't, it's not by accident. Like, the cosmos made you for a reason, and if you're not deep down to the core of your being, if you're not expressing that in your work, in your daily life, then you don't even know who you really are.
How would you
imagine? Sorry to cut you. Imagine coming here to fulfill a certain purpose, and then you don't do it.
So that would be. So I feel like
that's most people.
Yeah.
It's most people. My
soul's purpose on this earth, and it has. It's been interesting to see how it's kind of evolved. So it started with like PT.
Yes.
Then like coaching, but now it's, as I've evolved, my desire to, there's a better way. I don't really like using the word help, because then I feel like that's putting people in like the victim mindset. It's not my job to help people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to say like guide and support people of this world.
For sure.
So now my soul's purpose is to guide women to their true power. And when I think about it, when I'm meditating in the morning and manifesting the life that I want to create, it honestly, like, it brings me to tears sometimes, because you can't put a dollar value on this kind of work. Like, the work that I've done with Tom Clark, that I've done on myself, even like, things that I've discovered with you, because we've done some deep inner work together.
Oh, yeah. Best believe we have, baby. We've been there.
Yeah.
Done that.
Yeah.
Had beefs and won that number.
Mert's also a rapper.
I'm anything I want to be.
Yeah.
But that's my right.
Yeah. Hey. TM that. What was I saying? So that is my soul's purpose. And yeah, when I think about my mission on this world, like, that fucking lights me the fuck up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And I just couldn't imagine not doing this.
Yeah.
No.
It's because you're not meant to do anything else.
I don't even want to. Nah, I'm not putting that in my reality.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What do you think? What?
Well,
No,
it's the same for me, really. Like, I first, I did drama in high school, and then I was always fascinated by acting or like entertaining or being, doing something in front of the camera. And then I went to college and I started studying acting there, and then I did acting in real life. And now, obviously, I'm making videos, and I can't imagine doing acting, like fitting a specific role to portray a fake reality that doesn't really exist. It doesn't fulfill me. It's not enough anymore. It's still something that I'll do on the side.
Yeah.
But now, like, because reality is so much more fascinating than fiction.
Oh, for sure.
But most people don't know that, because most people don't know the true reality of our existence. If they did, they would be, their brains would be mushed. like it'll turn into like liquid form and come out of their ears. I swear. But yeah, and so it's evolved. How you're saying you evolved from PT into what you're doing now. It's that I evolved from acting into what I'm doing now. And what gives what really liberates the, I guess, profession, what empowers the profession is the effect you have on people, like on what it's causing.
Yeah.
And if you come here and you leave your contribution to make this world a better place, then that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
And how people do that is individualistic, obviously. People have different powers and they find their own ways into doing that, and this is just how we found ours.
Because there's so many different ways that you can leave an impact on this world. I truly believe even just the smallest of things that you do every day leaves an impact on people, like smiling at a stranger on the street, or holding the door open for someone, or not being a cunt if like someone like like not beeping someone, like little random acts of like kindness like that has a ripple effect on the world.
Domino effect.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And
but you can then also go the bigger kind of thing.
Because the microcosm is the macrocosm, and the macrocosm is the microcosm. So us here helping people makes the world a better place. But in return, in doing that, it makes our lives a better place to live in.
It's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling.
Exactly. Like creating a better world for others in return creates a better world for yourself. It makes your own life, like everything about it becomes better. It just evolves, and things start coming into place. Things start aligning, and then all these opportunities come, and you meet all these people, and you network, and next thing you know, you're living the life of your dreams. That's all that it is. That's all that is. Amen.
But I also how do I say? I'm living the life of my dreams right now, but I know what's coming is so much greater. It's
because it always evolves.
Yeah.
It's constant.
Yeah.
And that's the universe as well. It's always evolving. It's always same thing. Microcosm, macrocosm, macrocosm, microcosm. So as we evolve, as our work evolves, the universe evolves, and it goes hand in hand. Yeah.
I love this. I love
it too.
I wrote little notes down. Yeah. Do you reckon we discussed the importance of having friends that challenge you?
Did we?
Like you
I
said,
think we did a bit. I think. All right.
I
I don't know.
Just get some friends that challenge you.
Yeah, like surround yourself with people that push you to be the best possible version of yourself, that want you to reach your full potential, that help you to reach your full potential. Because I can't remember who says this, but it's a very common law. You are who you surround yourself. So you are
The average of the five people.
Of the five most people you surround yourself with. So if you want to find out where you're heading in life, just look at your friends. Look at your friends and see where it's taking you.
Yeah, I think this is common knowledge. Like everyone knows this, right? Like
definitely.
Surely,
but people that they know it, but they don't ingest it properly. They don't understand like the deepness, the impact, just how important and vital it is.
Yeah.
So they don't take it that seriously, and there's it's just a thing. My friends are fine. It's like, no, like your friends really aren't fine, and you need to fucking get rid of them and
or lift them up. I think you can. Not that it's your responsibility to do that.
Definitely. Like if your friends want to grow,
they will grow.
They will grow with you.
Yes,
that's great. But if they don't, this is a saying I say. If your friends want to grow, if your friends don't want to grow, then they got to go.
Ooh.
Then they gotta go.
Mic drop.
And I think it comes down to this, right? I think a lot of people don't ask themselves, who am I becoming? That people don't stop. It should be a question you should be asking yourself every day.
Every single day.
Hold on. Who am I becoming? And it lets you reflect and ponder on all of your actions, on all the things that you're involved with, and everything that you're indulging in up until that very moment. It gives you an idea of where you're heading. And then because you've given time to have that reflection, because you've put in the effort to see that, you'll know if where you're heading is good or not.
Yeah.
And most people don't do this. That's the thing. Most people don't do it. Most people don't ask, who am I becoming? Who am I? Most people don't know who they are. That's why they don't ask that question.
But that's the beautiful thing, is that you can ask yourself, like you said, every single day. And something that I talk about so often is like reflecting, journaling, meditating. Like it's so prominent in my reality because I curate my reality. So I see this stuff all the time, you know? But again, like a reminder, you should be journaling. I'd like once a day, if not twice a day, like morning and night. So in the morning, I like to like manifest on the day that I want to have. And then at nighttime, I reflect, how did I show up today? I know that like what my values are. I ask myself, did I live with love today? Did I make an impact on this world? Did I live with leadership or show leadership today? So a value that I hold is like play. Did I, have a laugh? Did I play with Zeke today? Did I And if I didn't, I ask myself, how can I do that tomorrow? Like I'm like, it's, and you can literally, like, I was listening to a podcast because I was telling you before that I wanted to study psychology. And I'm still tossing up between whether or not to do a degree, because I know that I don't need it, especially in this day and age. There's so much available information out there. So I was listening to a podcast, and he said, the psychologist said that humans only change to move away from pain. I was like, well, I fucking disagree, because you can choose to move towards pleasure. And so you can choose to, I think Dr. Joe Dispenza says it, you can choose to change in a state of pain and suffering, or in a state of inspiration.
Exactly.
So I hope that this podcast inspires people to fucking make a change today. You don't have to fucking wait for a traumatic event. Do it now.
I mean, learn from us too.
Yeah.
We have to learn it the hard way.
You don't have to. We're giving you this information for free. Yeah. take with it and run with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, I think we might end it there. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
I don't mind.
we're gonna pick little Zeke man up
From after school care.
Yeah, he's very excited to see his Uncle
it.
Mert.
Oh,
Yeah. Ooh. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys.
I'm gonna answer this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Love y'all. Peace. Ejam.